So Mark O'Sullivan started his professional career as an apprentice diesel mechanic and is restoring a pit special as well. These days, Mark earns his living as a wine grower. Not just military airplanes either. One of the Waco biplanes that we'll be seeing very shortly, because it was originally an airplane that was based on this airfield when the two owners decided to restore it. Now, touching down in Steadfast. Really fantastic act these guys have done. They're such great operators as solo performers, but this weekend we're seeing them with the two yaks taxiing down the crowd line. You can see just how different those nose profiles are between the inline Allison engine and the radial Pratt & Whitney R2000 on Steadfast. Give them away, folks. Base, wasn't happy. That's one of the wonderful stories that we get to see at air shows in New Zealand. In the case of the Spitfire, you have the Spitfire Mark AL, and it's Brendan Deer's aircraft, which wears the colour. Famously wrote the book 9 Lives about his flying career, and 9 Lives reflected the fact that he'd ended up having to bail out of the Spitfire around that number of times. So fascinating story, and I recommend it read if you ever get a chance. 9 Lives, autobiography by Alan Deer. There's the Kitty Hawk rolling out. Absolutely magnificent airplane. And folks, if it does sell and if it does go to Australia, don't get too upset. There's another 4 Kitty Hawks being restored.
Cousin to the Vampire. What was the key difference?
A little bit of, I guess, a successor of Vampire, is a slightly more advanced wing. Slightly more powerful engine. This one's actually been acquired from Switzerland. The Swiss were the last people still using the Venom fighter, and they had a distinctly unique little pixie nose it was referred to, and this airplane's kept that pixie nose as a tribute to its operation with the Swiss. Into the 1930s with the launch of the 5 magnificent Waco biplanes.
We'll fire the cannon, followed by the
the occasion in their racing top.
That is terrific. So we've got the three crafts. Graham, just or not.
Let's just see how they go. No, they're all fairly fragile machines, all a little bit finicky to operate. The one was particularly difficult yesterday. They always seem to have trouble with that particular machine. It's very hard to steer straight, and so you need wing walkers to manage the direction a little bit.
So words come to mind like hurtle. And even though we're calling this the Pioneer Race, you'd have to say that they are the most beautiful craft to come across our skies. Well, chasing hard. He's got his foot down, right?
Say again.
I think he's got it. Give him a good wave, ladies and gentlemen. And a clap.
Okay, here's the four open Wacos. These are all Waco 3-seaters, all slightly different from one another. I'll start at the back with the bright red one. That is a UPF-7, which was one of them. Took the fabric off, rebuilt it, and now it's in immaculate condition. Okay, this is a formation you won't see everywhere else. This is something that's very, very special, and the first time in Australasia. Aircraft of the 30s, and in fact they were pretty much done after about 15 years.
Where they are. Now that serves two purposes, ladies and gents. That shows the helicopter where to look, but it also gives them a really important indication of the wind direction. Because knowing what direction the wind is makes it a lot easier for that aircraft to hover in a stable condition. Okay, so the doors open now. You can see the waist, he's pulling the brake lines, and the rear of the parachute curls over. And they beautifully bring it down to touchdown, nice and safely, slowing that aircraft down and braking it. Great job, guys. Big round of applause for Kiwi Blue, ladies and gentlemen. Not to be forgotten, joining that enormous flag, which does create quite a lot of drag. We've got Doug coming in, and he has got, there you go, a bit of a harder job with that brake line because of the drag. Nice to see aircraft of this size so close up on the air show. Really great view of that now. Thank you very much. Yes, so talking about a high or a low show, it depends on where the cloud is as to whether we can do the full manoeuvres. All right, coming in from the front, ladies and gents, the C-27J Spartan of the Royal Australian Air Force. Big round of applause.
Looking really, really good. The team has worked hard from about October last year to develop this full show, and it's really great that they can get out there today and show the crowd what they've been practicing.
Okay, so as they're repositioning around there in their Vic formation, the question about the Spartan, boys and girls, if you know the answer of where the Spartan is based, I'd like you to go find Dylan. And Dylan is hanging out at the Mosquito aircraft, so go off and hunt for him.
And as the Black Falcons come around through to Crowd Centre, they will perform a Vic Valley Pass. Just some more info about Stu. He has flown quite a number of aircraft within our RNZAF, that being the Air Trainer, the Texan, the A109 and the Sioux and the Iroquois, as I mentioned, but also as a former flight commander of the Air Force Heritage Flight, which is the predecessor to the Heritage Flight. He flew the Tiger Moth, Harvard, and has experience with the Red Checkers and also the Black Falcons as a solo display pilot.
That's quite a few hours, isn't it?
It's very, very much so, almost trying to catch up to the king. As they roll out,
Imagine what that looks like from the flight deck, ladies and gents.
as they roll away from us, they will transition to puff of smoke, will centralise in behind, and lead will call the brake, and he'll initiate the detonator call, and the formation will split.
Are you going to do the voice switch or am I?
Oh, you can do the voice, you did it so well yesterday.
The detonator, here we go.
It's not their full-time job. Our primary role at CFS and 14 Squadron is to train the new pilots that enter the RNZA-109 that started up down there, 3 Squadron, and the RNZF ground team working pretty hard down there throughout the weekend.
So how hard is it to maintain your spacing?
And let's listen into Falcon 1.
3, 4, 5. No break. Go.
The New Zealand Red Stars team consists of 9 aircraft, all Yeti Yak-52. First flown in 1976.
Much happier with things like the brakes and what have you that have just improved so much under the care of Gem Aviation. So as the Avro Anson gets airborne with Bill Reed.
The formation team is made up of 2 groups using blue and red as call signs.
Aerial display, they're about to give us a nice uniform very impressive performer. Mindful this is basically a 1935 aeroplane. Great Britain was immersed in the beginnings of World War II. The aeroplane was already starting to be outclassed by other monoplanes. That's really been the saviour of this aircraft. And there's been a lot of interest, but not so much from New Zealand. So, as Brian says, this might be the last airshow display of the Anson here in New Zealand.
Tell me, Graham, restoration is not an overnight thing, obviously. With Bill, he took, 10 years to restore this craft. So what spins the wheels for a person?
Rolling now. What a majestic old darling this Anson. Just a beautiful, beautiful aeroplane. So magnificently restored. Bill Reed could not
Put
have
your
been
hands up and give them away.
For this aeroplane. Sorry, Ryan. So Ryan Southam and Bill Reed were crew today, the Anson. Beautiful job, both in the restoration and presentation of the airplane and its display tonight. Followed by the Newport 16. And that looks like a very small airplane, the Newport 11, but it is actually a full-size reproduction. Somewhat bigger. This is the Bristol Fighter.
Of course, if you want to
Guys doing a great job holding formation. What's missing in our World War I battle scene here at the moment, obviously, is German aeroplanes. In the past, we've had a few in operation. We have many on the airfield, mainly in the museum, and we have a few more coming. A couple in a container we were hoping to have here this weekend. Didn't quite make it through customs, sadly, so we'll be unpacking them this week. sequence. Leading the Fighting Scouts in the Sopwith Pup is Wayne Tantrum, who is an aircraft engineer on the airfield here, and that aircraft belongs to the Chariots of Fire Fighter Collection, which also owns the Focke-Wulf and the Mark 14 Spitfire. The second aircraft is eventually bought the aircraft, and over the last couple of years has had it completely refurbished to its original World War II colours. Just because they were such excellent pilot training. The care of Mark O'Sullivan, who's done such a magical job keeping it just pristine and in that original colour scheme.
Dave is an ex-RNZEF Skyhawk pilot, an airline captain, recently retired. Including the original red checkers livery, as these aircraft were once part of the aerobatic team within the RNZEF. Now on a thick belly pass. by Gavin Henderson will break off at the end. Ready for a fan brake.
In the P51 Mustang, rolling.
Spotted by the PO2, it realises that it's either going to have to launch or endure an onslaught from the Spitfire that's circling overhead somewhere. Let's see what happens.
Whilst we like to practice most things, folks, a certain amount of what we're seeing at the moment had to be first time round, so bear with us. It's a little bit nerve-wracking to see all this happening at once like this.
Yes, things are starting to heat up.
What would normally happen in a circumstance like this would be the crew on the ground there would be calling in the Luftwaffe to try and discourage